Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have the LEGO Juniors Ninjago Lost Temple, set number 10725, 172 pieces, and retailed for $29.99. However, you can see I did get this on clearance at Target, and despite what the tag says, I got it for $13.74, I think, not $19.24. So, yeah. But contains three little builds, three figures. So the first build here is probably one of the worst official LEGO set builds that I have ever seen. Because this is supposed to be a dragon, and it looks nothing like a dragon at all. Zero resemblance. I mean, I guess it has like a tail and wings, but it looks more like I guess the best thing I could relate this to is a dragonfly with a weird head. And I guess, you know, if that's what it's going for, you know, it's decent, but it's supposed to be just a full-size dragon, and it's awful. I mean, there's not much I can say. I mean, it has like wing articulation, which I guess, you know, is good. And the tail can move around on a ball joint, which is really decent, and so can the head. And you can even turn this electric energy coming out of its mouth. And the print is nice. Obviously, it's a junior set, so it's meant to be built by small children. And, you know, no stickers, so that's cool. I actually kind of like this piece, even though it's not very useful, because you can't really build a good-looking dragon with, you know, this piece is the head. But, and a ninja can sit right there, and it's blue, so it's meant to be J's. While this thing looks absolutely awful, I think that it actually is decent for what it is, because this is a junior set, and it really is just entirely supposed to be for play, not for looks at all, really. And I think that in that respect, this is okay. Not even, you know, still not great, because, like, you know, it'd be nice to have some sort of representation of legs, or, you know, limbs of some sort. You know, some sort of claws, you know. This still does not look to me like a dragon, but, you know, kids will use their imagination, especially 4 to 7-year-olds, so they will get something out of this, I think. And I think that just for that, this was a decent representation, but it might have been better to get some sort of other vehicle or other little training area that, you know, they would have gotten more use out of and would have looked a little better. Not even that it has to look great or anything, but like, there's a difference between, you know, acceptable and awful, and this, you know, falls on the wrong side of that line. Now, this little serpentine helicopter, on the other hand, I can actually kind of, you know, get behind this. It's a decent build, and it looks okay, but that is mainly thanks to this big lime green helicopter base piece. Everything lime green you see besides this one little 1x4 sloped piece is one piece, and it looks okay. I really like this back section, how it, you know, covers that up completely. Would maybe have been nice to allow it to touch the ground in that state, which just involves moving that bar out of the way. Because then you can load some stuff in there. I think that that's nice. It has space on the inside that works well for play. It does have the helicopter landing skids, which are cool. It's a little bit weird how far back they go, but they do kind of, you know, snakeify it by putting some teeth on there, you know. Up in front, it has the exclusive snake figure, which we'll take a look at later with the other figures. But it's got a little console, and it has some teeth on the front just to make it look more serpentine-like. And the cockpit comes down like that. I think it would be nice to be a little bit more enclosed, but I think that this works. The sides, you know, have some decent detail. I'm not sure about the red color scheme, like the red and green. I don't like that too much, but it's okay. And, you know, I would have preferred if it was all green and white. saying that that color scheme works. It does have this adjustable tail fin thing, which isn't very realistic, and it would have been nice to see propeller. But then again, this is a junior set, and it is designed for play, and I think that, you know, having the ability to just spin these, this propeller on the top, you know, even turn it like that, like it shows in the box, it's a little weird looking, but kids are going to do it because it's fun. And you're going to want to angle that back a little. But the opening door, you know, all of it, I think, you know, works to make a play vehicle. And it also does have this hook here at the bottom, which you can use to grab a little boulder, which we will show you in a second. But, you know, overall, this helicopter is an okay thing, and it doesn't look awful. It, you know, is just mediocre, I think. And the one thing that does really save it for me is the inclusion of this exclusive snake figure. This third section, I think, actually looks the best of the three, but it's still very simplistic, and still definitely does not make a, you know, really decent, you know, display or anything. But I think that this part does work well as a playset. So first things first, this boulder here, oops, I failed. But this boulder, you can attach the claw from the helicopter to it, and you can lift it up, and you can even, you know, close the claw on it. But inside of this, there are just 3 round bricks, so it does make a sound when you shake it around, which I guess kids will probably like. It's difficult to take apart without like a bar piece, but you know, it works. And it also can be placed there as part of a little trap, because this is kind of a little training course area. The base is printed with like lava and cracks, which I think is good for you know, a decent print. I'm not going to take everything off to show you the full thing, just because you get the idea. There's some fire around on the ground too. You can remove that if you want, but I'm going to leave it there. And there are some dragons guarding the entrance. But the point is, Lloyd would be jumping across here, and this axe would come down and try and hit him, but he dodged that. And then this thing would be spinning around, so he would have to jump over that, out of the way of that. This spins really well, actually, too. It's very loose, just because of the amount of friction in that part. And then, if you thought that wasn't enough, there's also this boulder which can come and roll in his way. And then he finally makes it where he can open the doors and retrieve the Sword of Fire, which I think is a decent, you know, kids will definitely enjoy that little course and all the action you can do here. I like the axe feature, and this is a nice touch as well, because these axe pieces are relatively rare, at least, you know, outside of Chima. And the other cool thing about this set is this print here. On this wall, it's got like a brick pattern to it, as well as this dragon on the side, and then this whole thing, which I think looks really nice, and those little symbols on this side. And I think overall that piece is well printed, and it might be usable outside of this junior setting, because it's not too cartoony like some of the other junior sets. And this is what the back assembly looks like, just from the back. Sword of Fire piece makes a return again, and up on the top you can see this little roof suggestion here, and it does have another printed piece, which is actually kind of interesting and decent. It's basically just a red circle printed on white, and there are some torches on the side as well. But this little build does have some good playability to it. However, you know, definitely could have looked a bit better. But I think that this is good as far as junior sets go, because, you know, obviously they have to be easy to build, and they have to, you know, use some easy to assemble techniques and parts. So I think that for that they got a good amount of playability, as well as an acceptable level of, you know, just displayability, I guess. Even though it's not really, basically just, looks decent. But definitely looks better than that dragon. So let's look at the 3 figures, which are definitely going to be an interesting, or one of the interesting parts of the set for many of the target audience. So the first of the 3 figures is Jay, and this is kind of an exclusive Juniors E version of the figure, but the torso printing is just the rebooted torso in front and back, but instead of having the rebooted mask and hair, he has the ZX mask, and underneath is just his standard face as you've seen. So, he does come with a black katana, which is also very common. So this guy is a rather, is a different, I guess, exclusive figure made of not exclusive parts. And Lloyd, too, uses the same exact style, I guess. He has that rebooted torso, front and back. Got the dark green arms, which look cool. And his head is the standard Lloyd head. And the mask we have not seen since 2012 with the ZX form, because it does have that gunmetal gray print on the top, which is pretty cool, and I'll give it points for that. And this last figure is an exclusive Serpentine character, and his name is Zoltar. He does not appear in the show at all, but he's actually kind of cool, and he's the reason I bought the set. I went out, I saw it on BrickByBrick at $13, and I figured, might as well get this guy, because, he's a pretty cool looking figure. He's kind of Venomari inspired, but not exactly. His head is the same mold as Clancy from the Skybound sub-theme, but he has 2 eyes on either side of his head, so 4 in total, and it's molded in dark green, not the lime green that Clancy uses. His torso print is exclusive, and it looks pretty cool. He has a nice little vine belt, I guess, is what you'd call it. And he does have some dark orange in the color scheme as well, which kind of makes him a little bit more similar to Clancy in terms of, color scheme and style and everything. And this torso is exclusive to this guy. The legs also appear in the other Juniors Ninjago set from this wave of sets, and they basically continue that like dark orange color scheme with the lime green. But this guy, I think, is definitely a really cool figure to include in this set, because he's just kind of a custom, Serpentine, and he is kind of cool looking, and, definitely nice to get an exclusive figure in this one. Alright, so overall, this set is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Especially if you're not, like, a little kid who is, the target age for these junior sets. This dragon is just crap. It really is useless on display, not very good for play either. It's just not really, useful. I think it's basically a waste of parts budget in this set. This little temple has some decent prints, some decent parts, and I guess it's good enough for play. I'd call this one mediocre, This helicopter I actually kind of like. Probably not as much as this one printed piece from the temple, but I think that it does its job, and it, is probably the most fun part of this set, because kids love helicopters. I think it was a little bit unnecessary to make a snake helicopter, but I think that what they did decently enough. But the real highlight of the set for me is the figures. That exclusive figure especially, I think. This guy is probably what I spent the entire $13 on. But the other parts, there's some decent stuff here. Really, though, this is not a set for anyone besides a kid who is going to play with this and enjoy it. And I think that for a kid, it's these 2 things here, are good, and you're gonna they're gonna enjoy playing with these. This dragon again, you know, it's but I would not really recommend this set at all to anyone who is looking for something that's even slightly display worthy. The only people who I would recommend to buy this are kids who maybe aren't ready for, you know, the real Ninjago sets, but have seen the show and enjoyed it and want the characters and, you know, something to play with them, or the minifigure collectors who want that Zoltar figure. And to them, I would recommend look for a good deal, because you don't want to pay full price for just that figure. However, on the other hand, I do think that if you are a kid just looking for something Ninjago to play with and you aren't ready to, you know, build the larger sets, I would recommend the smaller junior set with Kai and Lasha, just because I think that having the two vehicles that can actually, you know, chase each other around would be more fun to play with than this little scene. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of this junior set and, you know, the juniors Ninjago sets on the whole. I may pick up the other one and eventually, you know, review that one, but that one I'll probably also wait for a good deal. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.